The playoffs are upon us.
Football.
The frozen tundra of Lambeau Field and the dome of Indianapolis will soon be hosting first round matchups. Who do you have in yours? We'll find out who we have in ours right now on the Tree of Woe show.
Let's do it.
Start off AFC.
Sons of bitches. Okay.
All right, I can't get the serious down.
Now it's hard.
AFC.
We went way too NFL films, but it's okay. We like
Oh
it.
jeez. R.I.P. Steve Sable.
What are we doing?
AFC first.
Okay, so start off with Chargers at Bengals.
Yes.
The Chargers are that team that you think, okay, here's a team that's winning at the right time. Should they have won? No, because legal formation. Ryan Suckup doesn't miss twice.
And the fumble.
And the fumble. And
And
are
they're backups.
yeah, are they that team that comes in as the wild card, the final seed, and all of a sudden catches fire and goes crazy? No, I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
I'm picking the Cincinnati Bengals.
They're
I think we're going to see good Andy Dalton. Always see good AJ Green.
I don't think bad Andy Dalton's as bad as people make him out to be.
No, but I mean, I think we're going to see the good one.
Yeah.
And it
San
doesn't hurt when you
San
have.
Diego's defense isn't going to test him. It's not going to be like he's going to throw 4 picks against them.
No.
They're not that good of a defense.
No, I mean,
They're
and
not going to get a ton of pressure on them because their edge rushers aren't that great.
yeah, Andy Dalton started off rough against the Bengals this week. Had 2 picks quick. All of a sudden he bounces back. All it takes is boom. Their defense held strong. 1 deep ball to AJ Green. All of a sudden it's 7-6, and then it was gone from there.
Ravens, not Bengals. Clarify.
Yeah, well the Bengals. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I meant.
Yeah, I know.
Mhm.
Yeah. And San Diego, I don't trust Phillip Rivers. I've never have, never will.
I do trust Phillip Rivers this year because
He's slinging it.
ever since the Broncos game, I'm like, okay.
They beat Denver at Mile High,
Mhm.
so it's tough to go all the way against them. But I feel like Cincinnati was my favorite in the AFC before they lost to Atkins.
Yeah.
The fact that they've been able to recover pretty well is remarkable.
Mhm.
I feel like they put in Pico. Is that the guy that was in
Dan Pecco.
Yeah, something like that. But they've played well.
Mhm.
I have them winning there. So
Yeah.
they would go on to face New England in the next round because they're.
Will we have them go farther? We'll see.
We'll see.
Next match, we got the Chiefs heading to Indianapolis. This game just happened 2 weeks ago,
Yeah.
week
something like
16. And the Colts won, and now they return. This time it is, like you said, in Indianapolis. Who are you going with?
that. I'm going with the Chiefs.
Big Chiefs guy?
I'm a Chiefs guy. I think that their defense, when it clicks, when Tom Ali is rushing off the edge, and when you got Derek Johnson roving around, and you are able to put Brandon Flowers on T.Y. Hilton, there's no Reggie Wayne. It's kind of been Andrew Luck's little downfall since then. That defense is going to be able to force turnovers this time. They haven't been able to force turnovers for the past couple of weeks, but it's ebbs and flows. I feel like they're a team that if they can get to you, which the Colts aren't impervious to solid pass rushers.
No, I mean, they don't have, Dwight Freeney, Robert Mathis. It's not that type of thing anymore when they were at their primes.
Well, I'm saying more from the Chiefs coming at them.
Oh, I thought you mean
yeah.
the Colts aren't, yeah.
Yeah, well, the Chiefs aren't a deep enough dropping team to where Robert Mathis is as big of a factor, but he's their best player on their entire team. And when you can neutralize that with your screen game, with your east-west running game, yeah. He led the league in sacks. I'm going to go with him as their best player.
We'll talk about their best player in a couple seconds.
Oh, no, don't do this.
In a couple seconds.
It's going to be close. I think the fact that the Chiefs backups played that well is going to. I mean, the Chiefs haven't taken the game seriously.
It's not gonna. It didn't help them. It's gonna do nothing but give them more confidence that the fact that they're, and all of a sudden
their play calling can work with their backups.
Yeah, exactly.
Your pick.
I'm taking the Colts. They beat them once. I think they're gonna beat them again at home. I think Andrew Luck, their best player, one of the best players.
Robert Mathis led the league in sacks, didn't he? Or Robert Quinn beat him out.
Either way, I still think Andrew Luck's the Colts' best player. You got T.Y. Hilton doing some things. Hopefully Trent Richardson can get going more than he has been.
They have to get him going on the outside. He's not a between the tackles guy, which is weird because he's big.
Yeah,
Alabama.
When you look at him and you think about him, that's what you picture him as. But he can't.
It's not as much of a vision thing. He's great in space.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing about Alabama's offensive line was
He's like sneaky shifty.
Yeah. Like he's not. He doesn't like. If you were to look at him, you think, well, this guy's gonna run the middle.
Mm-hmm.
You think Eddie Lacy.
Yeah.
Instead, you have Ryan Matthews.
Yeah, pretty much. A guy that he can go. He can go up the middle, but
He's not as good as Ryan Matthews.
No, not at all.
If you continue to hand the ball to him up the gut, you should be fired.
Mm-hmm.
He's not that guy. The Browns knew that. The Browns needed a guy like that.
Yeah.
They're not.
And they were smart enough to realize, okay.
They didn't have the quarterback to throw the ball a ton. If you get involved in the passing game, it's a different.
Yeah, you got to start. Yeah.
I agree with that. But
yeah. So I think the Colts are going to win. I think it'll be a close game. I can see it being, like mid-20s, mid-20s score, 24-21, 28-24, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I just have the Colts winning. They're at home. Yeah, they're at home. Andrew Luck's been playing well. They're clicking at the right time. The Chiefs, and like you said, they haven't taken a game seriously since Week 15. Like you say, that doesn't always end in good things. So, and the fact that you look at a lot of the teams they won, games they really won, games. I mean, and you can only play who's on your schedule, but they did have some guys on their schedule, and they didn't look like they belonged on the field with Denver Broncos for most of the two games. A little bit in the first one, but after that, it was just
the first
a wrap.
one when I can't remember the guy's name on top of it. Justin Houston. When he went out in their first game, it looked like it didn't belong anymore.
No, yeah, and then the Chargers. That's a trap game in between, but still a loss to the San Diego Chargers, who beat also. They're not a bad team by any means, but it's like you got to win those games.
Yeah.
And you look at their schedule, and it's the same. I won't say what team, but when we get to the NFC, there's a team where all the games they won were just not good. So we'll get to that. Whatever. So, and I just think the Colts. You look at the Colts. They beat the Niners. They beat the Seahawks. They beat the Broncos. They've
Lucas
showed
Oil Field's legit.
It's tough.
The house that Peyton built can go hard.
Yeah, they've showed that they can beat these top two teams. They've also showed they can slip up. St. Louis ruined my Survivor pick. Lost me some money. Sons of bitches. I've forgiven them this, and I think they're going to win this one.
Tavon Austin's not walking through that door, though.
No, not at all. That's why I'm excited.
Tavon Austin's not walking through that door.
God, Tavon Austin will never be.
But then again, Jamal Charles might.
Yeah, Jamal Charles is a problem. Yeah. But I think that they can contain the passing game enough to where they're not going to be too worried about it, and they can totally hone in on Jamal Charles to the point where it's not going to sneak up on him like a lot of times they did, because as good as we know Jamal Charles is, before the last 4 or 5 weeks, it's not like, oh my God, you got to contain Jamal Charles.
Yeah.
All of a sudden he goes out for that 5 touchdown game. It's like, okay, this dude's like sneaky MVP choice right now in the combo.
But he's their offense. I mean, it's weird. I mean, you say Alex Smith throws the ball a ton. A lot of those are to Charles.
Yeah.
And they need some weapons, though. They're a team that's probably a year away from being.
So yeah. I've seen the Chiefs that make me understand why you're picking them, and I've seen the Chiefs that make me understand. Exactly. So
I'm with it.
It's a toss-up. They're both good teams.
It's a trust.
It'll be a fun game to watch.
Yeah.
So let's move to the NFC side. Niners at Packers.
Once again,
I've
seen Green Bay, and they were not good without Rodgers.
Yeah.
People forget they were one of the best teams in the league before the loss. Rodgers.
Yeah.
It's just how far back is he?
I think who'd they lose? I remember with Rodgers they lost to Cincy week 2 or 3. Yeah. But Cincy's legit.
Yeah,
I'm
they're
pretty sure it was at Cincy.
Yeah. And they were money, and then they lose him, and then they go through quarterback carousel,
which you can totally understand why they weren't doing so hot.
Matt Flynn
is not Aaron Rodgers.
He got beat out by Tavares Jackson to be the backup in Seattle. Yeah, so I went with Green Bay here, though. Just because, the Rodgers we saw on Sunday was not as good as we've seen. There was some placement issues. He wasn't hitting Nelson as good as he was before.
Yeah,
that chemistry wasn't there. There was some that timing was off a little bit, but you could see it. And that last touchdown, that's a play that Rodgers and very, very, very few quarterbacks can make. Rolling out to the right side after breaking the pass rush on 4th down, launching it down the field. Most quarterbacks don't look down the field on 4th and 5. He launched it down the field wide open to Randall Cobb, who also they didn't have a lot of weeks, and that hurt them as well. They're my pick here. That's a tough game for Seattle in round 2 if they win that.
I'm really looking forward.
So San Francisco.
I'm really looking forward to this. I just want to make sure. Okay, I figured I picked, but I didn't want to freak out.
San Francisco's not bad. It's not like they're knocking them. They're. when they got Crabtree back, they took the next step in
Yeah.
offense.
I'm also taking the Packers. It's at Lambeau Field. Colin Kaepernick has been tearing it up. I think I saw that he has like the top total QBR in the past like 5 games or so. He's been lighting it
I
up.
don't understand that rating.
I like it a lot more than quarterback rating though.
I don't understand either of them.
Yeah, QBR makes much more sense to me when they break down like the what
Formula?
goes it. Yeah, so when they were explaining it on NFL Network, at least I was like, okay, I can see where that makes sense. Frank Gore, he's an up and down guy. I mean, at Lambeau Field, it's tough. Kaepernick is really good. Sometimes he's pretty bad. Sometimes it's on the road.
If he has to throw a lot of time.
Yeah, in Lambeau. I mean, he's got the weapons. Vernon Davis is unreal. Like you said, Crabtree. He's nothing to get mad at. Bolden
has been playing phenomenal.
Yeah, Bolden
that was a big pickup.
That was a huge pickup. That changed everything.
Yeah, that was. It took him from a Super Bowl contender to losing in the first round.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Well, they don't.
It's not their fault. People got better.
They don't beat Arizona without Bolden.
Yeah.
They don't beat. I'm guessing they don't beat Atlanta. Sorry.
Yeah.
That was big.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's my only problem here is the Niners team. It's you almost lost to an Atlanta Falcons team without Julio Jones, without Croy Bierman, with all these dudes that are just chilling, like, well, what are we doing? And then, like, you can't say, oh, well, the Niners they were just taking them lightly.
No,
they had to win that game.
It was Monday Night Football.
And
it was the end of Candlestick.
And they had to win that game. That clinched them the playoffs. All of a sudden, they lose that game with the Cardinals that was close anyways. All of a sudden, you never know. Ball bounced a couple ways, they're out of the playoffs. So you can't say they were taking it lightly. They needed that game. And the fact that the Falcons, who have struggled on offense mightily this year, trust me, I'm a Falcons fan. I've watched all these games. They can't move the ball this year. They were lighting them up. Like, they were just getting chunks and chunks and chunks. And Matt Ryan just completing to Roddy and Tony and all these guys.
Palmer blew him up last week.
Yeah, and I'm thinking...
They're not exactly the steel curtain...
No, not at all.
Gold standard of defenses.
And I think that the Packers defense can do enough at home to where I think Aaron Rodgers is going to light them up with Randall Cobb back. He's going to be running around, hitting Jordy Nelson on these routes, hitting Randall Cobb deep. It's just...
Boykin.
Oh, my boy. Big hand, Boykin. VT boys.
Quarles has been playing good too.
Yeah, I mean, the Packers coming into the year were, my pick for the NFC. And then, some things happened. The rise of the Seattle Seahawks happened, and they lost Rodgers for a while. So it gets to the point where now I'm thinking, okay, another week for Rodgers. He looked okay this week, but you can't expect a guy to come back immediately and do this. So I think now the jitters will be gone. He's at home. He's in a playoff game. And I think their offense will carve up the 49ers. I see them winning by 10 plus.
Mm-hmm.
I could see...
I could see it being a blowout. I could see them
35-28. I could see it getting to 35-20 if Aaron Rodgers starts clicking. Yeah. And Colin Kaepernick gets a little nervous and starts losing it.
Whoever hits, if one of the teams hits 30, it's over.
Yeah, I think so.
For the Niners to win, they have to find a way to hit Aaron Rodgers early.
Oh, yeah.
And not hurt him.
Yeah, they just have to rattle him.
You have to make him
uncomfortable.
You got to make him know you're coming.
Mm-hmm.
And they have Alden Smith, or is he in rehab because he's a bad person?
I don't remember. I feel like I saw him playing on.
If he's coming off the edge, he's the kind of person that would take a cheap shot at Rodgers.
Yeah.
Like the Seahawks did take 5 cheap shots this past week.
Happens.
Yep. All right. Next game we have Philly versus New Orleans.
In Philly.
In Philly. You never know. It could be snowing.
You never know. The Saints, undefeated at home. They're like the Seahawks if the Seahawks were much worse on the road.
Last year, Seahawks.
Yeah, exactly. I want to say, so let's see. What were the Saints' record this year? 11 and whatever?
11-5.
So that means they would have had to be 3-5 on the road. And the Eagles are playing lights out. Nick Foles.
I thought Carolina beat them in New Orleans, didn't they?
No, that was in Carolina.
Okay.
But you got Nick Foles finishing with 24 touchdowns, 2 picks, the highest rate ever.
Yeah.
They've been
McCoy.
They showed that you can put up. Yeah, LaShawn McCoy is just unreal. Deshaun Jackson. I mean, if they had Jeremy Maclin, we don't even want to talk about that. Brent Selleck's a pretty good tight end. I mean, he's not Vernon Davis. He's not, Gronky. You better, my man. You know what he's doing right now. But he's banging porn stars.
He's not Jimmy Graham, but
He's not Jimmy Graham
Jimmy
at all.
Graham's not a tight end.
No, not at all. But I'm taking the Philadelphia Eagles, and I feel pretty confident about it because I feel like they're on a roll. The Saints are going the other way. They had if you can call a big win. I mean, it wasn't a big win. They won big against the Buccaneers.
Yeah.
Which, shocker. I mean, come on. But they're coming off. Carolina exposed them a little bit. They should. Okay.
Seattle. They've been the same in Seattle.
Oh, Seattle.
Mollywopped them.
Seattle wiped the floor with them.
Yeah. Mollywop. Hey.
It was rough.
Yeah.
So I'm taking the Eagles. I think Nick Foles can. I just think this offense is finally what Chip Kelly envisioned, and it's crazy to think that because at the beginning of the year when they're like, who's going to be this quarterback, Michael Vick or Nick Foles? They're like, oh, Nick Foles, like he's going to be able to run that offense. He's running it about as good as you could ever imagine.
Imagine Mike Vick though.
Like we didn't have to. We saw him in the first couple games, and it wasn't very good.
But I think they're figuring out, they're mixing the quirks up too.
Yeah, well, I'm the biggest Michael Vick fan you will ever meet in your entire life.
Foles is tailor made for it.
Absolutely,
It's 100% accuracy.
And it doesn't make sense. Yeah, like when you first think about it, but
you think, how's he gonna get the ball on the field? How's he gonna run the zone read? How's he gonna do all this? You have to count for the quarterback. Else he's gonna take 5 yards on you all day. And it's not the big plays don't come from him launching the ball down the field, a la Brett Favre.
Yeah,
it comes from a crossing route or a wheel route, a manufactured way to get Deshaun Jackson or LaShawn McCoy.
Yeah. So if this game's in New Orleans,
different story.
Probably will change my tune. I'm pretty high on the Eagles, so I wouldn't say I would 100% change, but yeah, it would probably be that way. But luckily for me,
that's why you don't get home field.
Lucky for me, it's not. So I'm gonna go with the Eagles here.
Same here. I feel like I was interjecting the entire time because we had the same pick.
No, it makes sense.
I don't see it being. I mean, maybe you can't count out Drew Brees, best quarterback in the game. I don't care what anyone says. 3 straight years of 5,000. Oh.
I would put him below a lot of people, but that's okay.
Yeah, fair enough. He's my number one.
Okay.
He's as good at I hate saying managing a game because you're using managing a game to drive a Charger. Yeah. So managing the game, you always think like how Andrew Luck. Yeah, Andrew Luck. I'm going to say that. But how Alex Smith plays. You always see the guys who are managing the game by just little dinks and dives and all of that stuff. But the way that he's been running the Saints offense is just crazy. I mean, they're out there just the short passing game is great. They understand how to get Jimmy Graham in the seams and all of that, and I just think that they have the potential to, but at the same time, their defense isn't there yet. They're a couple of years away.
Yeah, you can't say Drew Brees isn't good. I just have a couple guys.
Yeah. Sorry, we had to adjust this because it was dying.
Hashtag death.
Sorry, I'm unplugged today.
I don't think so. I don't know what's going on. It's freaking out.
Okay.
We're just going to get shifty.
Move this way.
No, we're good.
Okay. All right.
What does that lead us to?
Leads us to the second round. Let's go back to the AFC.
So we had
Cincinnati, New England. We both have. We're unanimous in Cincinnati.
Okay, so we'll talk about Cincinnati, New England, since we both have the same.
Yeah. It's tough. This one really racked my mind. I could see the person winning this go to Super Bowl. Obviously, when there's 25% chance or 50% chance after this. But I mean, New England. It's Foxborough's tough. Foxborough's a weird place.
It really is.
It's not loud. It's not overly cold. It's not overly windy. There's no mystique behind it, other than the fact that you don't want to play there in the playoffs. It's not a fun place to go to. It's in fact, it might be the worst place in the AFC. That's a possibility because Kansas City's not. That Arrowhead rocking would be crazy. Cincinnati would maybe. I feel like that. Maybe not yet. Denver's not. You have the altitude, but New England, you don't want to play there. You don't want to go to Fox, especially against Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. That's not the fun place to be. And I don't think Cincinnati can make it through that. And if people are going to start that Andy Dalton is overrated or overhyped or all that stuff. If he doesn't win the Super Bowl this year, those don't unfollow them on Twitter, block them. Who cares? Only one person is going to win Super Bowl this year. It's not Andy Dalton's fault that Geno Atkins got hurt.
Mm-hmm.
It's not his fault. He only has AJ Green to throw to with Marvin Jones and other guys. If Cincinnati had a legit number 2 receiver and their tight ends Gresham and Eifert.
Oof, Tyler.
Yeah, Eifert, because the other ones in Minnesota, the Notre Dame guy. If they were healthy, with their backfield with Gio and can't remember the other guy's name, their other running back.
Law firm.
Yeah. Oh, it is Green Ellis. Yeah. With those, they're legit offense, and their defense is they're beat up though. Leon Hall is a big loss for them.
Mm-hmm.
Geno Atkins is a big loss. It's not their year. It's New England's time in this matchup. Who do you have?
Yeah, I also took New England. Too much Tom Brady. He always finds a way. And I just feel like,
Touchdown
like
Tom.
you said, it's not AJ Green's time yet. I mean, it's not and again, it's not going to be Patriots win this. It's not going to be like, oh, it was a total failure for the Bengals. Like you said,
Do they get rid of Dalton, who's progressed?
Everyone can't win the Super Bowl every year. It's not how it works.
No.
So
you don't get rid of Matt Ryan because
exactly.
Lost this year,
unless we can get Johnny Football. Not gonna happen. But anyways, so yeah, I just have the Patriots. It's just I feel like this. I mean, sometimes you can explain stuff, but it's just what I feel.
I covered most of it.
Yeah, I just feel like the Patriots are better. Sometimes that's all you need. I just feel like the Patriots are a better team. Oh, look at this guy on the TV. Young Aaron Rodgers. So yeah, I would have the New England Patriots heading to the AFC Championship game to face who?
Yeah, you have Indy and Denver. I have Kansas City and Denver.
Okay, so I'll go first.
Okay.
I have, like you said, Indy and Denver because that's the way it rolls out. The rematch, Andrew Luck versus the guy he replaced, Peyton Manning against his old team. This time in Denver, no pregame distractions, no Jim Irsay trying to do some wild shit. Just Peyton Manning trying to recap one of the greatest quarterbacking season of all time.
He doesn't have the record, by the way.
Which one?
The yard record. The yards record.
Well, that's Breeze.
Yeah, no, like the six, like he has the 6-yard gain that he had in this last game that was a backwards lateral, technically. Let's see if they stat correct that though.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, he has 55 touchdowns, so either way, he's
100%. He sits down in the fourth quarter most games.
Yeah, he's the greatest quarterback season I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
And ever. So I think
those weapons too. Man.
You're not beating, and Wes Welker will be back. You're not gonna beat Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning is gonna be on a mission, especially after how last year's game with Baltimore went, where they easily should have won that game, and it was just blown coverage. Oh my God, what the hell are you doing? So yeah, I think the Colts or Chiefs for that matter would get. Would they play the Chiefs?
They would play the Chiefs.
Yeah, in our scenario. I think the Broncos win this game by a lot, no matter who they play. I just happen to have them playing the Colts. So I have them 45-28 types, like bad.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going with. The Broncos that offense is like, it might be better than the 08 Patriots. And that's saying a lot because that offense was one of the best things ever.
Yeah. Randy
Moss, all those dudes, but this might be better just because Peyton Manning is just he just knows. Yeah. He just knows. He's had 2 years now in it, and it's just
keeps the things. No Sean better.
Oh, I just
running game's not that bad.
No, not at all.
That was the biggest deteriorator from their last year. They weren't that solid.
So yeah, I have the Broncos going on to face the Patriots in the AFC Championship. Peyton Manning versus Tom Brady yet again.
Yeah. I have Kansas City upsetting Denver.
Woo! And it would be an upset.
It would be a massive upset. I feel like they're the team to do it. It's just weird. It's just one of those weird feelings I have to where I feel like they didn't show them anything in the second matchup. They kind of just conceded because it was just like they didn't think they had a shot at that point because even if they would have beat them, they still would have had the Broncos screw up again. And the Broncos did actually.
Which they did.
Yeah, but no one in their mind thought that was going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just a weird matchup for Denver. It's a weird matchup to where Kansas City can control the ball, which isn't good for Manning, especially if it's cold in Denver.
Mm-hmm.
We know how the weather works in the Rockies.
We live pretty close.
It's not going to be a night game because the NFL wouldn't do that to Peyton. It's going to be the afternoon game. 100%. I would put money on it if that was an option. There's no way in hell that the NFL wants to see Peyton Manning play in a night game in the snow. Because that would be 14 degrees. People would be sitting there freezing like this. He couldn't hold the ball. His face would be frozen shut. And he'd definitely head up ball no Sean Marina. That's not going to happen because it's not going to be a night game. But if it snows or if it's windy, Kansas City in a landslide. Even if it's not, though, that team before they started sitting people had their best offensive output. I mean, it was the Raiders, but Jamal Charles is legitimate. There's no doubt about that.
Mm-hmm.
The receiver core is whack. That's not that, but it's not as whack as you think. Donnie Avery was very, very, very solid. Junior Hemingway looked very good as one of their backups who might get some playing time. People have been calling for it. Their tight end's been playing solid. Fasano's back. Fasano missed a lot of the year. It's a big thing. If they can line up in the ace they have ace double tight, so they have Charles in the back and they have tight ends on both sides. Then you have Donnie Avery on one side and you put Dwayne Bowe on the other. If the Dwayne Bowe of old shows up, that's a really solid offense. And their offensive line's good too. So, battle of the trenches, I'm going to go with that one. Let's go to the NFC.
You didn't sound convinced at the end.
Not at all. It's one of those things where I'm not convinced, but I'm not convinced. There's a lot of question marks with Denver. I feel like we're not looking over. I mean, because they're one of the teams that can play down because they can throw back at you.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, what if you can get to Manning? At some point, their makeshift offensive line that's really not that talented is going to start feeling pressure. And if you can find a way to out scheme Manning,
which
or make him,
I don't think you can.
I think the only way you can do it is by not outthinking him. It's weird. As soon as you try to outthink him, nothing good ever happens.
Yeah.
But if you were to walk up there and say, "We're sending 6, call your thing," that's great, awesome. Throw it that fast, see if our guy doesn't pick it off.
Right.
You force 1 or 2 turnovers, it's a different game.
Mm-hmm.
And they have momentum after beating Indianapolis. I think that's just them escaping one of their demons and getting on playoff work.
Mm. All right, so then you've got Chiefs, Patriots. I've got Patriots, Broncos. Moving on to the NFC. We both picked Eagles, Packers, right?
Yes.
Or did you pick the Saints?
We picked Eagles, Packers.
Okay, so we'll start off with Green Bay at Seattle. You know, Seattle, not technically the best home team because it was the Saints had the undefeated record, but at the same time, it's like, okay, are they? I don't know. Aaron Rodgers, I could see him putting up points on that defense, but at the same time, I could see that's a defense that will come up. They don't care if you've been hurt. They don't care if you miss games. They will hurt you. Mm-hmm. Not in a dirty way. Sometimes, maybe.
But
they'll hurt you in a non-dirty way, too.
The game against St. Louis was admittedly dirty.
Yeah.
Their defensive coordinator, whose name is escaping my mind right now, said, if we don't go to play football games, we show up to the parking lot for a fight 11 on 11 every single down.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a chippy attitude that translates all the way through. Linebacking was solid.
Yeah.
They hit. I mean, they're not technically superb at anything besides really hitting people.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I could see Rodgers putting up points, but Seattle this year, I mean, they have the defense, they have the offense. They've shown that they can beat good teams. They've shown that they can beat good teams at home, definitely. And I think had Rodgers had a whole year, this might be a different story. Maybe not, though, because
I don't think they're going to have a 4 seed with different like that.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, just saying up against the Seahawks team, and I just think it's going to be too much. I think as much as I really don't like Russell Wilson, he's gaining my respect as a quarterback, and you can't talk crap on the guy. He's doing great stuff. So I think that
he gets one of the biggest free passes I've ever seen.
Yeah.
For anything. He plays bad, no one says a single peep. And if you do,
I think Russell Wilson to me is your Andrew Luck.
Yeah.
100%.
But it's different because the hype started later. The hype started when he started winning in the pros.
Oh yeah, I'm just saying it from the act of I think he's just whatever. But yeah,
it's a lot of it is the fact they're them. I'll wait.
Yeah, so I'm done. I'm taking the Seahawks to beat the Packers.
I'm taking the Seahawks as well. I don't buy the Russell Wilson I'm a Seahawks fan. Seahawks fans do not send you hate mail to me. I don't care what you say about this.
Mm-hmm.
Russell Wilson's not the most important player on this offense. It's Marshawn Lynch. It's always been Marshawn Lynch, and it always will be.
Mm-hmm.
Russell Wilson's not an MVP candidate because first off, he hasn't hit 30 passing touchdowns. Second off, they run the ball they pass the ball the second least in the NFL. The least, San Francisco. So Kaepernick and Wilson aren't exactly carrying teams. And if anyone tells you anything differently, they are full of the ESPN bias that it's all about quarterback play.
Yeah.
This game will be won if Seattle's offensive line shows up and plays as well as they did against St. Louis. Mm-hmm. But if they play bad, like they have a couple times this year, if they're paper mache, if they're letting guys come through, if Green Bay's defense, or even San Francisco, if they win, can come through and get to your quarterback, you aren't going to have a chance. Because those teams are good at everything else but that. I mean, San Francisco's pretty solid at that. But Green Bay's not. Green Bay's not a good defensive team. They're not going to do anything. I just can't go against Marshawn Lynch and the Seattle Seahawks. Percy Harvin might be back. That would
definitely help.
They don't have any weapons. They don't have any receiver weapons really, like that are. They have
Golden Tate, but
it's a different sort of thing.
Yeah,
he's always been a running back playing receiver. Ever since he was at Notre Dame, it's always been a running back who plays receiver. He's decent down the field. He's not exactly Randy Moss. No. But how Randy Moss?
Yeah.
AJ Green, Calvin Johnson.
I don't know these Randy Moss speed wise down the field.
That is true. But Doug Ball. They have a couple issues. Their tight end's not that great. Luke Wilson, not that solid. I'm sorry. I'm not sure if he's 100% anyway. He got hit pretty bad. But resoundingly, they're a lot better than Green Bay. It's one of those things where it's going to be a 7-point favorite from Vegas. It's a nasty home field, and it's tough to win there.
Yeah.
And it's tough to win there in a situation like this. And the Saints found that out
the hard way.
Yeah, that was a couple of years ago. That was fun. Marshawn Lynch, determination.
Yep. All right. Then we both have Philly at Carolina.
I feel like we're going to be different on this one. I picked Carolina. Once again, it's one of those things, too, where I can see their flaws. It's not like they're enough flawless team. Their running backs aren't fantastic. D'Angelo Williams is solid. Jonathan Stewart's coming back. He could come back and he can do some stuff for him. Cam's good. I like Cam. They're another team that doesn't throw the ball outside.
Love Cam.
They're not. That's the secret to winning. These 4 teams out of the NFC aren't your sling it out teams because there's no need to be. With everyone and their moms trying to stock up on receivers, if you can get a solid running back, which 3 of the 4 teams, I'm going to call it at least solid, or if you get a once in a generation running quarterback like Cam Newton, you can go very, very far. If you go back to San Francisco, they run the ball really well too. With Frank Gore, who's a Hall of Famer. But Ted Ginn's been coming along. I think that's a deciding factor. Luke Kuechly's been playing really well defensively.
Yeah, he has.
Star Lotulelei has been getting pressure on the inside.
My boy.
It's just tough. And there's some point where every year Chip Kelly always was never a national champion. He always ran into the bigger, badder dog, or always ran into something not clicking at the right time. How long can you ride out on? I feel bad picking against Sean McCoy. I feel like he's the best running back in football. There's stuff he can do that no one else in the world can do, and that's crazy.
Yeah,
he's got that lateral agility not a lot of people can match up with. But it's Carolina. It's in Carolina. You got to go with the home team there. It's going to be real close. It's going to be a slugfest. It's going to be like 20-17.
Yeah, the Panthers are the team I hope come out of the NFC. That's be who I'm rooting for. They're not necessarily who I'm picking here. They're not who I'm picking here. When I I want to believe in the Panthers so much, and I started breaking it down a lot because I was like, okay, I feel like this could be it. I looked and I saw, they had wins over the one over New Orleans that was really close. The one over New England was a good win, but
That one was.
I mean, that shouldn't have happened. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Gronkowski got freaking Jameis Winston, and so,
He was more of the girl in that situation.
he got Jameis.
Jeez, rape jokes.
Only Jameis. No, Jameis Winston. He didn't do it. He couldn't see.
Wait, hold on. I can't see. Are you saying no?
What are you saying?
Are you saying you don't
You
want?
can hear me even if you can't see.
You say I can't road Trey.
Oh, geez, go.
But yeah, I looked and they had that big win streak. It was all against really, really, really bad teams, and even in those, Cam wasn't. I mean, he was
Going for 300 yards like once.
Yeah, I mean, and again, I just go back to the Eagles. This will be a trend. Take notes. You have LaShawn McCoy, best running back, if not in the whole NFL. It's definitely in the playoffs because AP's not here.
NFC. Him and Mark. Looking at it,
I have,
him, Marshawn, Jamal Charles.
Yeah, in the playoffs. Yeah.
Joe and Peterson.
Oh, yeah, you have to. Yeah. If he was here, that's different. Another debate.
Yeah.
But and then you also, and it's the fact that you have a guy like that, the best running back in the game, rushing title, with a guy 24-2. You have a deep threat in Deshaun Jackson. You have Brent Selleck coming across the middle. You have all the things you need to where the Panthers, their defense is really good, but the Saints, okay, you did pretty good against the Saints. They're one-dimensional. Pierre Thomas is not LaShawn McCoy.
No.
Deshaun Jackson is better than Marcus Colston, and he's not. I don't know. Him and Jimmy Graham are totally different type things because he's just a physical freak mixed with a guy that can just run past you at will.
Didn't Graham not play a whole lot in the time when Carolina beat him?
No, I think he played. He just didn't play very well.
I thought he was. That game he had one catch. I thought he was bad with an ankle injury.
Oh, I don't know.
He might have been.
They completely just took him out of the game, which is why I'm saying that's the Saints guy. Take McCoy out. All right, Nick Foles proved he can beat you. Just Deshaun Jackson, go. And if you want to try to stop Deshaun Jackson, boom, you got LaShawn McCoy running crazy. And all of a sudden, the Carolina Panthers are in a position where if they get scored on a couple times, it's like, okay, crap. We rely so much on our defense. Cam, go score us some points. As much as I love Cam, he's prone to make a couple mistakes a game.
It's going to be him throwing the ball deep way too many times.
Too much, which what you're saying. It's
just head get. That's their option.
They're going to have to go away from what they've been good at. Like you said, they're mostly good because they don't, they can stick to their game plan. I just think the Eagles' offense is good enough that they can get up on them to where they're going to take the Panthers out of their game, and the Eagles are going to come away with a win in Carolina. So then I have the Eagles taking on the Seahawks. You have the Seahawks taking on the Panthers. Yeah. So back to the AFC. I'll let you go first. You have KC versus New England.
Yeah, at Foxborough.
At Foxborough because they would be they're the team.
I picked Kansas City here.
Okay.
I mean, it's one of if they win one, they'll win three. If they lose Indianapolis, obviously they lose that one there. But they're a team that if they win that first one, they prove that they're as good as they're advertised. But it's this matchup with New England. I feel like they're matched up. They're a team that can match up really well with the Patriots. Patriots don't have Gronk anymore, so they're going to be doing a whole lot of Amendola and whatever else they want to try to run out there.
Julian, baby.
Yeah, Julian Edelman. Their quick passing game, their intermediate passing game has been their hallmark.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not where you beat the Chiefs. You beat the Chiefs down the field. You beat the Chiefs targeting Marcus Cooper down the field, and you beat the Chiefs by taking away their pass rush and having longer developing routes happen. I mean, is Nate Solder really gonna hold the edge all that hard? Maybe. I mean, that's the question right there.
Mm-hmm.
But it's weird. I'm not as big on the Patriots as most people are. They scrape by a ton, and that's not a good sign.
Mm-hmm.
I don't buy that bullshit where it's like, oh, they found a way to win. Tom Brady's a winner. Quarterback wins the most important statistic. All this stuff. If you have to if Buffalo is that close to you the entire game,
Yeah.
You're not that solid of a team. I'm sorry.
They
And
should have lost to the Falcons.
yeah, exactly. I don't want to bring it up. But they're not the be all end all world beater. But it's at home. I don't know. I feel like if once again it's a weird thing too. Momentum doesn't really exist. There's no real momentum. Anyone's actually been like a legitimate athlete. There's like you don't like if you pitched good, you didn't go the next game like
Thinking, oh man,
yeah.
that's like that was 5 days ago.
Yeah, exactly. The momentum is the bullshit thing they made up again.
Yeah.
Kansas City, if they go and they beat
I believe
Denver,
in in-game momentum, but not week-to-week momentum.
yeah, if they beat Denver in Denver, they're the scariest team because
Yeah, I can totally see. Yeah, I don't agree that they'll do it, but if your bracket held true and they got past them, totally.
If this happens,
yeah,
they're here. If
oh
not,
yeah,
then Denver's
that's
gonna
totally
beat
what
them.
I'm saying. Yeah, I'm with you.
Whoever wins that game beats New England.
Yeah,
'Cause
I can agree with that.
Yeah, that's why I had to go with Kansas City. It's by that point they'll be clicking on offense. They'll be running. They'll be doing. But their biggest thing is if that defense goes back to how it was playing at the start of the year, New England's not going to have a good time.
Yeah,
and it's not going to be fun to watch on television because when they were playing well, they weren't a fun team to watch at all. Other than the fact that they forced turnovers and scored on them. But other than that, it was just like, oh, they're making a punt a lot. They're playing the foolish metal. They're playing the long game, the extra strong game. Extra strong way.
And I agreeing with what I just said. Whoever wins that game beats the Patriots.
You have Denver.
I have Denver. They would destroy them.
They
were destroying New England until they let out their foot off the pedal.
We both picked the same exact people from the AFC we picked in our midseason review. And actually, we hit every single playoff team besides San Diego. We didn't know it was going to be.
Yeah, I think we did. Yeah, I did pick San Diego.
I feel like you did.
I know I did.
I picked someone else.
I just had them higher, but we had all the teams. Yeah,
I picked the Jets.
Yeah, but at the time that we made it when they were
8-8 still. They were.
Yeah, they could have. They have the same record as the Chargers.
Yeah, if they would.
Yeah, whatever.
If they would have won an odd week game or whatever,
yeah,
stupid stat was. Yeah. Shout out to us.
Go us. Going on to the NFC, you have Carolina versus Seattle. I have Philly versus Seattle.
Yes, both games would be in Seattle.
Either way it'd be in Seattle.
Pick Seattle here. And they beat Carolina at the start of the year, and it was real close. But it was in
10-6, week 1.
Yeah,
great game.
Yeah. The thing was, people were like, oh, you beat Carolina by that much? Seahawks are pretenders. And then they turned out to not be pretenders. They they climbed the ladder. And for them to beat Carolina, they're going to have to win up front. That's the biggest thing. And I mean, obviously, guard is their biggest weakness. That's what they're going to target in the draft in the first round, to guard or tight end. But I mean, it's not bad. It's not bad play. McQueeston's not playing bad. Sweezy's not playing bad. If the right McQueeston or Sweezy shows up, it's not a game. It's Marshawn Lynch down their throats, and then it's hitting Percy Harvin over the top. Because if he's not playing by the NFC Championship game, everything we've been told the entire season is a lie. But he played against Minnesota. He didn't get tackled or get hurt during that game. So I don't understand all that. Let's just move on. But that's my pick. It's every reason I picked him to win so far is why I picked him to win this one.
Right. And now that we're getting to this point, yeah, you know why we're picking these teams. So we don't have to go as deep into it.
Talk about the matchup
Yeah, that's pretty much all it takes. You know how you have the Chiefs and you don't quite know why, but you do exactly know why?
Yeah, that's how you are with the Eagles.
That's me and the Philadelphia Eagles.
I understand it too. It's one of those things where we're relying on the super unknown.
I mean, I looked at all the stats in all the games, and you have to dig deep with the Eagles. Why? Because Michael Vick played 3 or 4 of the games. Yeah. Matt Barkley played in 3 of the games. Nick Foles had this many games. So it's hard to go. You have to kind of look at, okay, Nick Foles, Matt Barkley, Michael Vick didn't affect the defense. So you can kind of look and get the gist of the defense.
It does as well, though. Like when Barkley wasn't playing all that, he was throwing all those picks.
They get
short
the
fields,
ball. Exactly.
That, yeah.
So you have to go deep. The Eagles were a team, and when I look deep, I'm like, okay, when Foles took over, it's been a wrap. Like, I just look at it and I'm thinking, okay, if you never know what's going to happen if you had a full season sample. I mean, not just a small sample size, but you had a full season to digest what he's going to do. But from what I've seen, and all I have to go off is what I've seen, I honestly think this is the team to do it. If there's a team to do it, I think it's going to be the Eagles. Why? Because they believe they can. You think LaShawn McCoy is going to be scared of Seattle? Absolutely not. He thinks he's the best running back in the game, and that's what you need when you go into Seahawks. Why? They're the best shit talk. If you are this much scared,
Deshaun Jackson and Richard Sherman are going to talk about it
If they are this much scared, the Seahawks will rip you open. Yeah. Deshaun Jackson has no fear. Steve Smith and your man, no fear. You have to have guys like that when you're playing Seattle.
Yeah.
Now Nick Foles, that'll be remain to be seen. That's going to be the huge X factor. He doesn't come across as a dude that's going to get rattled easily, but he doesn't come across as...
He doesn't get hit.
Yeah, exactly.
The biggest thing watching Philadelphia is what they do with the misdirection and all that stuff. You can't send more than 4.
Yeah.
If you do, they'll hit you with a run at the middle and you're done.
Yeah, and it's as good as Seattle's defense is. no one's seen an offense like this, and that doesn't mean necessarily it's going to work every time, but it's just it's something different than what you're seeing. And doesn't mean it's going to work against Seattle. Seattle's a different beast than anything they've faced, anything they will face. Seattle's the best defense, I think, in NFL by a long stretch. Yeah. But what happens if the shit talkers start giving up some stuff? It's kind of like what happened in the Falcons game last year in the playoffs. The Seahawks were talking. Roddy White beat Richard Sherman one time for a deep touchdown. Totally changed everything.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, Roddy White's like, "Oh, really?" And Richard Sherman, you can kind of tell he's like, "Okay, it's not, okay, he scored on me. I'm not invincible." And then also it's the offense. Okay, hey, we scored on these guys. And then the Falcons scored again and again. The Seahawks made a late run, but they still won.
Yeah.
I think the Eagles have the offense to be able to do that. LaShawn McCoy breaks something like all the thing, and all of a sudden it's like, okay, we're here. Can you guys match us? And it turns into a whole different paradigm, if you want to use that word, than what the Seahawks are used to. Yeah. And again, doesn't mean it's going to happen, but I think the Eagles have the ability to make that happen, and that's why I'm picking them to go to the Super Bowl and face the Broncos.
The biggest thing for Philly is surviving Carolina.
Oh, absolutely.
Because Carolina's going to have 2 weeks to prepare for either. Really, they're going to have to prepare for 3 teams.
Yeah.
But the team they're going to look at is the team that scares them the most. They know how they're going to play against San Francisco and New Orleans. They've played both, and I feel like they beat both, or did they not beat San Francisco?
No, they beat them 10-9.
Yeah.
That was the really close one.
Yeah, so they beat both those teams. They know what they're going to get out of those. They're going to sit there.
The Eagles are such an unknown.
They're going to turn on the tape, and they're going to turn on the tape, and they're going to find the way that you're going to have to make Nick Foles beat you.
Yeah.
They're going to find out what the unknown is about him, because everyone has their weakness. Peyton Manning can't beat you down the field.
No.
Very rarely can he. Tom Brady is not all that great at throwing a couple of routes.
Mm-hmm.
He can't beat you down the sidelines.
He can't beat the Ravens very often.
Yeah. The Ravens, he can't. If you get to him and he's not having a good time, he's not setting his feet.
Yeah.
He's in all that.
If you can run him off the spot, it's a totally different ballgame.
Yeah. Russell Wilson, if you're I don't know, I feel like if you must rush him and you don't give him the lanes to run, he's not as solid.
Yeah.
Everyone has their weakness. Rodgers has his weakness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so if they can
pop
figure it out.
Rodgers a couple times, Rodgers is the same Rodgers.
He doesn't want to run around anymore because he's exposed.
But what's Foles?
We don't know yet.
He has to at some point put together a couple bad drives.
Exactly.
And with 2 weeks to find it, that's going to be tough for him to make it through that.
Yeah.
And not only that, but in your scenario, there's an extra week for that Super Bowl, and they're only playing it for one team.
Mm-hmm.
So who do you have as your Super Bowl champion?
Me?
Yeah.
Eagles.
Wow.
Going balls out.
Running
in. Peyton Manning. A little chilly in New York.
Yeah,
a lot chilly in New York in February.
The Farmer's Almanac calling for snow. Okay.
Where's Philadelphia? Pretty bad weather, huh?
They played that snow game earlier too.
They're a little used to it by now.
They played in the snow and they won.
If you're playing on a snowy field, what does it help? Oh, the run game?
It helps the person who has the ball in their hand. Because he knows when he's going to cut and no one else does.
Is it hard to stop LaShawn McCoy on sturdy ground?
No one found the way yet.
Can you imagine him with dudes already back on their heels thinking, Sean McCoy, whip, 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 whip.
He knows how to cut too. The biggest thing, if you watch his footwork, he knows what part of the foot to plant off.
Yeah.
You don't plant off the inside of your foot like a lot of these running backs do nowadays that have never been told anything differently because they've been gifted from God the ability to do
Yeah.
great natural things. LeSean McCoy does a lot of the little things really well. That's why he has unreal agility. He plants off the outside of his foot, and he keeps his hip square to where he's extending out through the anterior of the hip.
Yeah.
So it's an entirely different thing.
Yeah. So
Balls in his hand, it's
it's a wrap. So
Yeah.
like my scenario, there's a lot of stuff that has to go a certain. Like I said,
Yeah.
if the opening round game was in Seattle, in New Orleans, I don't pick the Eagles. But it's not. What? There he is.
there it is.
There
There it is.
So
No, that's what I was talking about
that's
the
funny.
play standing. Yeah.
that's fun. So yeah, and then in the Super Bowl, if it's in Miami, Florida, just nice weather, I pick the Broncos. I don't think it's going to be. I think it's going to be bad weather. It's going to help the Eagles if they. I mean, and again, you can say, well, the Eagles aren't even going to get there.
NFL,
All I have to go off of
NFL's
is
not
this.
going to play if they're in bad weather.
Yeah, they're going to cancel the Super Bowl.
They're playing on Monday.
But yeah, so I'm just going off my thing. If this all happens, I see the weather being a factor. LeSean McCoy would run all over the place on that defense.
Yeah.
Nick Foles would do just enough. Peyton Manning would struggle. You know,
Nick
the
Foles played really
Eagles.
well in their snow game.
Yeah, the Eagles would be coming off of more. You know, that wild card that has that one more game. They've had to do it the whole way. They had no time off. You know, the Broncos really haven't rested guys, but it's they were never in danger of not making the playoffs.
They don't
It's
have
just been
Von Miller either.
It's been a cakewalk. Yeah,
Von Miller's
Von
out for
Miller's
the year.
out.
That's a huge thing for him.
You never know how healthy Wes Welker's coming back, but we don't.
Concussions are weird.
Yeah, we don't know. So I'm just saying, if my scenario runs through and it ended up being Eagles Broncos, I'm rolling with the Eagles. And the crazy thing is, this could all come to a screeching halt Saturday because the Saints are a really good team.
Yeah.
But I'm taking the Eagles. I'm sticking with it. And I would honestly not be surprised if it happened because I feel like they're a team that believes they can. If you listen to LeSean McCoy's interviews, he's like, we're going to work. We got this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that is my scenario. Would it be?
You always assume the personality of your best player.
Yeah, exactly.
Every team works like this. When I was running track, we assumed the personality of our best runner.
Mhm.
On relay teams, we looked to the person with the most experience, and that's how we trained.
Yeah.
That's how we ran. That's everything we did.
Mhm.
And that's just how it works.
Yeah, so you got your Chiefs. I'm rolling with the Eagles.
Okay. I'm not picking the Chiefs to win.
No, I'm just saying you
Oh, yeah.
had your team where
Oh yeah,
you
that's
kept saying
my
this will be an
rough
upset.
one.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's the 5 seed I have running
Yeah,
the show.
exactly.
I picked the Seahawks to win the Super Bowl, like I did in their midseason, like I did in the preseason.
Mhm.
I'm a Seahawks fan. It's one of those things where picking them to lose, I gain nothing.
Yeah.
If they win, you guys are gonna be like, "Oh, you didn't trust your team. It probably wasn't all that great." Oh, in the back of my mind, it's just like,
In the NBA one, I picked the Spurs as reverse psychology, and it worked.
how? But you knew it was reverse psychology. I'm not a big fan of reverse psychology.
I never pick my team because I feel like it jinxes it.
I'd rather be all right than all wrong.
That's true.
I'd rather be sitting there like, "Oh, hey, Seahawks won. I called it right, and they won. So screw everyone who didn't believe in me.
Mhm.
Who didn't believe in that I picked it right." But it's one of those things where they're gonna have a tough road to get there.
Mhm.
One more road to cross.
All of the roads.
But I've been playing Kansas City in this. They could be playing legitimately 4 teams out of the NFC.
Mm-hmm.
AFC, I mean. They could be playing Cincinnati even. Cincinnati, ball goes the right way. Who's going to stop AJ Green of anyone that they're playing? Who has the stopper on defense at defensive back? I don't see a team on there. But the Seahawks, I feel like when you have like you said with LeSean McCoy, the team rallies behind Richard Sherman and Marshawn Lynch.
Mm-hmm.
2 things that don't go out of style. Yeah, Champion Baptist.
That's real.
Yeah, that's real.
116-12.
Yep. Mhm.
Okay. Oh my god.
Yeah, I'm rebounding. Wow. I feel like Champion Baptist would be a team that Utah Valley would play.
Absolutely. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Marshawn Lynch. He's that guy. Richard Sherman.
Yeah, they're those guys. That's who you associate with. Those are the guys who as much as you don't talk about the crap talk, like the shit talking and all that,
Mhm.
the confidence of that is a lot better than the fucking fake humble guy. Oh well, I think that we're gonna play a really good
Yeah. I
team.
mean, you got it.
And then you go behind the scenes, he's like, guys, this is a very important game. Oh man, I think we got it. And outside, he's a different person.
Yeah.
I hate that. I hate
Yeah.
that. That doesn't get you anywhere.
Yeah, I'd much rather have the dudes that just say it straight.
Yeah, like,
And
hey,
the thing about the Seahawks is it's not like Richard Sherman's out there talking shit and guys are like, dude, calm down. Earl Thomas like, yeah, let's go, man. Fuck this shit.
Pete
Everybody. Pete Carroll's probably out there.
Pete Carroll coaches defensive back. You think if you wanted Sherman to stop, he would stop by now? Here's what Pete Carroll does. Back it up. That's he's been a player's coach since he was at SC.
Mm-hmm.
When they were tearing stuff up on offense, do what you want, back it up. Reggie, just go do Reggie.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think that's why the Seahawks works. Is it's not one dude just yapping. It's a mindset of the whole squad.
Michael Bennett gets a sack.
Oh.
He is talking the rest of the game.
Yeah.
And then you can't have. Russell Wilson on the other side, who's
very
meticulous.
Yeah, he's just having a good time.
Yeah, he's a fiery dude, but it's not he's very, very, very respectful, and you almost can't have your quarterback be that guy.
Yeah.
You're a Falcons fan. How bad was it when Vic was? It was fun, but how many times did you feel like Mike just stop?
Yeah, it got to that point a whole lot. It's like
that's why
once the luster of man, this is so fun to watch. I wish we would win sometimes. Like it gets to that point where it's like this is so much fun, but like imagine how much fun it would be. Like maybe don't run for 200 yards, but like win, and all of a sudden that started happening a couple games. You're like, okay, this is way more fun.
I hate talking about QB wins.
Yeah,
I hate but I feel like people are just gonna be like, Russell Wilson is the most successful home quarterback in his first 24 starts ever, and because of the 16 starts, I'm sorry.
Yeah, so was Matt Ryan. How'd that work when the Packers came in and whooped that ass?
Yeah, exactly. All these stats don't matter.
Niners.
I don't give a damn about 2011, 2013, 2014 playoffs. I don't give a damn about any of that. I don't give a damn who's in what commercial, who's doing what. You put points on the board, you stop them from scoring points, you win.
Mm-hmm.
Seahawks are really good at the second.
Yeah.
And Percy Harvin is incredibly good at the first. Marshawn Lynch is incredibly good at the first and actually helping out the second.
Yeah.
And Russell Wilson is very good at making sure that the seconds don't come from him turning the ball over.
Mm-hmm.
In a way, he is the evolution. He's kind of like, Trent Dilfer was for that Ravens team.
Yeah.
But because he's a little bit more dynamic and because
he brings a little bit more,
Yeah. And because he hasn't overstayed his welcome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And because it's the story behind it. It's the romanticism. He was the third round pick. Nobody wanted him. Everyone passed over him twice. He was picked after a punter. Oh, my God. All of that. Nothing matters if you don't get the ring.
Yeah.
All this means nothing. Don't make the shot. Take us home.
So yeah, we straight up. You heard all our things. I don't need to recap everything. You watched it to this point, then you know it's been an hour. Hope you've enjoyed our podcast, a life podcast, personal journal on our journey into the NFL playoffs.
Into the mind of two guys talking about football in the basement.
That's literally what we're doing. So let us know your picks. Let us know how dumb you think we are. Let us know how smart you think you are. Let us know all your picks. And at the end of the day, let me just say this. No matter how you feel, no matter what your picks are, we can all just gather around a television, cheer for who we want to win, and thank God that neither of us picked the Denver Broncos. Have a good night.